Hello everybody, today I'm going to install Home Assistant Supervised on Debian 11. The first thing I'd like to do is to change my computer IP address to manual IP. Now I need to find out what IP address my computer is getting from my DHCP server. I'll go to All Application, search for Terminal, type in IP address. This is your IP address. So type in my IP address that my computer is getting from my DHCP server. This is my subnet mask here, /24, which is my net mask. And I need my default gateway. To check your default gateway, type in this is my default gateway here. This will be different from yours. Please verify what yours is giving you is definitely going to be different from what mine is giving me. I want to change my DNS to use Google DNS, which is 8.8.8.8. I'll put a comma to type in the secondary DNS 8.8.4.4. Click apply. Close this. Next thing I'm going to do is to open my browser. And I'm going to visit Home Assistant webpage. Which is homeassistant.io. You can find the link in my description. Click Getting Started. Click Installation. We're going to install Home Assistant Supervised. That is why we're installing it on the Debian. We're going to scroll down to Home Assistant Supervised. You can as well click on this link to take you down there. I'm just going to scroll down. So this is my Home Assistant Supervised. This is the instruction on how to install your Home Assistant Supervised. There is a warning. You're supposed to read the requirements. So what are the requirements? They are basically some dependencies and some OS requirements. You read all this and then you look at the supported OS. The next thing they're going to do is to click on this step 3. Now you wonder, why did I jump step 2? Step 2 is basically telling you this installation method has a strict requirement. For example, it only supports Debian. So what I'm going to do in this video, you cannot do it on Ubuntu or Raspberry Pi. So make sure you understand the requirements in this step 1 above. So I'm going to click on step 3, which is Home Assistant Installer. There are 4 steps to installing Home Assistant. This is the first step. This is the second step, which involves installing Docker. Third step involves installing the OS agent, and the last step is us installing the Home Assistant Supervised. So I'm going to go through this step with you. The first thing I want to do is to ensure that my computer is fully updated. So I'm going to confirm that by running apt-get updates and apt-get upgrade. Now, once you run this command, you can come across this error. If you come across this error, this is basically telling you it's trying to get some of the repository from the CD-ROM. You can remove this option by coming back to your activities here, going to show application, search for software and updates, click software and updates. Uncheck CD-ROM. which is this one. It's going to ask you to enter your root password. Once you uncheck that, you can rerun the command. But what I want to do before I rerun this command, I like to ensure that I'm getting some of my downloadables from the officially supported website, and I'm also enabling the recommended updates to also update daily and install it automatically as well after download. So I'm going to click on close, click reload. This will just take a few seconds, and once it's done, this will disappear, and then you can then rerun the command. Now, as you can see, there is zero upgrade, nothing is newly installed, so that's good. So the first thing I'm going to do is the next thing I'm going to do is to do the first step, which is step 1. To do that, I will just come here to this page, click copy, go back to my terminal, and then paste, enter. Once you're done with that, we could actually check if there is any broken installation. Okay, currently there is none, nothing to be fixed, everything looks good. The next thing we'll do before we go to step 2 is to reboot. I'm going to log in. Open back my browser. I'm also going to need my terminal. I'm going to restore my previous session. I'm going to need my terminal. Remember, we have done this first step. The next step we're going to do is this step here. Notice that we're beginning the command with curl, which is actually one of the dependencies we already installed. So I'm going to copy this command, which is the step 2. Paste it in my terminal. But before I do that, look at this. This has gone back to my default user account. That is because I have not elevated my accounts to the root account. So now, since I've already copied, I'm going to paste, run that command. This will take a few minutes to install. There are other ways you could install curl. I'm sorry, you could install Docker using curl, but if you follow this first step, you shouldn't have any issue installing curl. So I'm going to just copy that and paste it and allow this step to run. It will take a few minutes. Once it's done, you will know it's going to, because it's going to show you the version of the installed Docker on your PC. Now that it's done, you can see that it's installed. It's going to tell you all the things you need to know. It will tell you what version you're running. So once you can see all this information, you're just good to go. So the next step we're going to do is to go through step 3. Step 3 require us to go to this link because there are instructions that we need to follow there. So I'm going to click on this link. That will take us to the Home Assistant OS agent. Now it tells us that we need to download the Debian package from this link. So I'm going to click on this link to download the OS agent. I am going to download this one here, which is my x86 architecture. You could find whichever one that works for you, but this is the one that works for me. So I'm going to click on this. I'm going to copy the link. Now, if you remember, we did use wget. We did install wget dependency earlier when we're installing all the required dependency on step 1. So we're going to use this wget command to install the link. So I paste the link I copied earlier and I hit my enter key. Now everything has been downloaded. This is the file that is downloaded. Remember that this gave us an instruction. Let me open the page again. That the first thing we need to do is to download the latest file, which we've done. The next thing we need to do is to install the package. So this is the package which we're going to install. To do that, I'm just going to copy this command, but if you're copying this command, please note that this file here is going to be different from your file. I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to copy this, then go to my terminal and then paste this. But this time I'm not going to run this because I want to show you that the OS agent that is referenced here is 1.0.0, but the OS agent I downloaded was 1.4.1. Remember, one of the requirements is that we need the latest OS agent. So I cannot run 1.0.0, but rather I will need to change that file beginning from this OS to .deb with this that I downloaded. Copy this and then paste this. Now everything is installed. The next thing I want to do is to ensure that my Docker is actually installed in my home directory, in my user account. So I don't have to log in as root to run this. So I'm going to do this. Usermod. This home here is my username. My username is either going to be root or home, but home is my default username. So as you can see it here as well. So I'm going to type in the username here. So what I've done is to switch my Docker to run from my home directory. That's just by the way. Next thing I'm going to do is, now that I've installed step again is that step 3 by downloading the latest version and installing the package that I downloaded using the sudo dpkg -I for install, and then installing it, and it tells you all this. This is it installing the package, and then it's already done. The next thing I'm going to do is to go to step 4. Step 4 is to install the Home Assistant Supervised Debian package. To do that, I'm going to copy this, go back to my terminal, and then paste. Now, this is basically two different commands. The first one is downloading the Home Assistant Supervised from this link using wget. The second one is installing the command. It's installing the file. It's installing the file. So I could remove this second one, or I could just leave it and run both of them together. So what that is going to do is it's going to download and then install at the same time. So once this is done, it's going to give you an IP address, which remember we set the IP address to manual, which is actually what we have here, and it's going to give you a port number of 8123. Now, what I do is I copy all this info here. I copy them, open a text editor, paste. This is one way for you to remember this link needs to be open after you've done the reboot. I'm going to save this. You could as well write it down with a pen. I'm going to put it on the desktop. Save. Now that I've saved that, the next thing I'm going to do is to just perform a reboot. Notice my username is home. Now I'm going to open back my text editor. Click open. That's the file I saved just now. Open that. This link, copy this link. Open your web browser. You can start a new session. Paste the address in the browser. Enter. This will then prepare your Home Assistant. Congratulations, you have successfully installed Home Assistant without issue. This is how simple it is to install Home Assistant Supervised on Debian. Just 4 steps. Follow this step and you'll see that everything would actually come up to this point here where your Home Assistant will actually pop up, and that will make you feel good about yourself. So we're going to wait for this to finish configuring everything that it needs to configure, and then we're going to move on from there. Now that everything has been configured, so the next thing you need to do is to type in your name here. I'm going to change my username to home. Type in my password. Confirm my password. Click create account. Choose detect to detect your location. Click next once that is done. Turn on basic analytics usage, statistical data, and diagnostic. Click next. Home Assistant could actually find some integration already on your network, or may not find anything. That's fine, and click finish. As you can see, your Home Assistant is ready. The first thing I like to do when I install Home Assistant is to install SSH or the terminal. To do that, I'm going to go to add-ons, add-on store, and type in SSH. Now notice this, that did find anything, or you type in terminal, that didn't find anything. But what you need to do is go to your profile, scroll down, and turn on advanced mode. Go back to setting, go to add-ons, type SSH. So you can see whether you type in terminal or SSH, you have both of them running. Install SSH. What I like to do is to put my SSH on the sidebar, so making it easy for me to access. I also like to turn off my start on boots. That's for security, but you can as well leave it on. So just turn it off. You don't really need it on. Show on sidebar is already what we've done. You can do auto updates. Now, once you're done with everything, you click start. It's that simple. Once SSH start, you will see that the status will change to start, stop, and restart. You also have the option to uninstall it. So this is your terminal here, which is your SSH terminal. We're going to need this terminal to install HACS, which is the Home Assistant Community Store. So Home Assistant Supervised actually came with its own built-in store, but I love to install HACS to get more advanced integration or more things that I can actually easily integrate without issue. So to do that, I'm gonna open HACS on the link to download HACS. The link is hacks.xyz. Click download. This will give you the step to download and install HACS. Remember, we're using the Home Assistant Supervised. So the step is for you to go to the add-on store, which we've installed SSH. If you remember, we turn on the advanced mode. The next thing is to configure the SSH by following your documentation. The next thing is to start. Remember that we have our SSH running. Let me go back to add-on and show you SSH. Remember, it's running. So the next thing is to connect to SSH. If you remember, we have our terminal open earlier. And then finally, we need to run the HACS script, which is this one here. Copy, go to the terminal, and paste it there. Now, one thing I've noticed with this terminal is when you do right click and say paste, you might actually sometimes not have the correct spelling. Sometimes the wget is missing. But in this case, everything looks good. Press the enter key. Now, as you can see, it connects to this link and then it tells you installation completes. The next thing it tells you is remember to restart Home Assistant before you configure it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to setting, system, restart. Click restart. This will restart your Home Assistant. This sometimes can take a minute or two or less, depending on how fast your Home Assistant is. Once it's ready, you will see Home Assistant started. You will know it's ready when you click on all this and everything, it's running. Now, you will need to add the HACS we just installed by coming to Device and Services, Add Integration. and then type HACS. This is it here. Sometimes if this doesn't open, hold down the control key and press reload. That will do a hard refresh on your browser, and then you can try it again. Click HACS, check this, and submit. This gives you the link to go to and the code to put in the link. I'm going to open this in the new browser, copy the link, log in with your GitHub account. If you do not have any, create a new account. Once you have your account created or you log in with your GitHub account, type in the code that you got here. Click continue. Click authorize HACS. And as you can see, it will tell you congratulations, you're all set. Go back to your browser. Notice this, HACS is installed. I'm just going to just click finish. And then I have the HACS installed. Notice this as well. You have HACS here, which will give you its own add-on, which is more of the same thing you have here, where you can actually search the market for some add-ons and install some of these add-ons. You could as well go to integration and look for repository. Now this repository here that are actually on HACS, you might not be able to find them um, on the default one that came with the Home Assistant Supervised. So here, for example, you can find cameras like um, Reolink, you can find device like Alexa media device, you can find other kind of responsibility that you actually would need to use to actually install um, your Home Assistant. So this is all about installing Home Assistant. I hope this video has been very informative for you. I'd like to thank you for viewing. Please encourage us by subscribing so that when we post a new video, you'll actually be notified. Thank you so much.